Hello again, Jim Dowson here, guest presenter with the Emergency Service Templar report. Hope you are all really well. If you were on yesterday, you'll notice I'm in different attire today because I've got to do many things. So bear with me. Thank you very much, first of all, for a lot of kind comments that came in after yesterday's service. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm a bit rusty because I don't do it as regular as I used to do it. So I do appreciate your kind words and encouragement, and it's very good that we can encourage one another, and I hope as you have encouraged me, I can encourage you. So we've got some good stuff to go through today, some stuff that will cheer you up and maybe settle any troubled spirits, troubled souls, worry, anxiety. I'll do my best. I'll still tell you the truth, so if it was really bad you'd be getting the truth, but if it was really good you get the truth as well. So I'm not here to just make you feel good for the sake of it, but I want to tell you the truth, and I'm sure when I tell you what I've got to tell you, you'll feel much better. So, as is customary now, I'll just start this, and I'll tell you why I do it. I do this wee bit of Bible reading at the beginning now to chase away the crackpots. Can't be doing with them. Anyway, who's in the room today? We've got, yes, Jonathan Boudin. How you doing, brother, from Quebec? Frank, you're early. What happened? Have you run out of that moonshine? Nice to see you, Frank. Robert Erickson, Greg Howarth, how you doing? Thanks very much, brother. Appreciate your words. John Andrews from Ontario, how you doing? You're more than welcome. James Chance, all the very best to you. Neville Walker, how are you? Thank you. This jacket's over 30 years old. I got it on eBay. Yes, it's the type of jacket you would wear in the old days if you had an E-type Jag. Sadly, I've only got the jacket. Helen Taylor, lovely to see you, sister. Are you from Cumbria, Helen? That's interesting, Cumbria. I used to go to the Keswick convention every year in Cumbria. Scott Johnston, how you doing, from Bangor, a good old Ulster Scot. Do you know that very flag is hanging? We've got a horse arch in the priory here, and I nailed that up a couple of years ago. It's still there. Nobody's took it down. Ulster Scots. Paddy Nolan, how you doing? Yeah, exactly, Paddy. I know what you mean. Them Cartney Channel, Colin Locke from Donegal. Colin Locke from Donegal. I know the name, Colin Locke. I know you from somewhere. But how you doing? You're more than welcome. Do you know Donegal is the most non-biodiverse town in the whole of the island of Ireland? It's 99.2% Ulster Scots Protestant. That'll soon change. I shouldn't have said that now. Soros will be listening, they'll flood you with a load of West Africans. Kim YY, good day to you. Wes McFarlane, greeting, brother. All the best. Okay, let me get into this a wee bit and see. So, as we're running up to Holy Week. So, yesterday in the service we did the whole Jesus riding into Jerusalem on a donkey to face his fate. Well, we're getting into it here a bit, but this is for Sunday, but I'm just going to give you a wee taster, you see. Jesus is now ripping into the religious leaders. And I've been flung out of churches many a time. Churches who were supporting abortion have stood up in the middle of the service and gave off, and people said, how dare you speak like that to a priest or a minister in the house of God. Listen, if you're supporting abortion or gay marriage or any of that in a church, Ichabod is above the door, and that means the spirit has departed. You can take that from God, not just from me. But anyway, he's up in Jerusalem now, and he's ripping into the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all these boys, and they're not very happy. But anyway, he's sitting here at the moment. He's up on the Mount of Olives, and he's trying to tell his disciples, look, when I depart from here, there's wicked men going to come and deceivers going to come trying to deceive you. So he's trying to square them up so they understand what they're in store for. But anyway, where are we? Matthew 24, coming down to verse 23. Just a wee short bit, folks, if you don't mind. This is the words of Christ. Then if any man say unto you, lo, here is the Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall rise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, inasmuch that, if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chamber, believe it not. For as lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Sorry for stumbling over my words there. I've actually got a tooth missing. I've got one of these These fake ones, on temporary thing at the moment, and it's playing havoc. It's playing havoc with me. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure God will still add his blessing to the reading of his word. And I just want to reiterate what Christ is saying here. He's saying, listen, people are going to come and they're going to tell you all sorts of stuff, and they're going to perform these so-called miraculous things, and healings and all that stuff, and they're saying, this is where Jesus is, and this is where Jesus is. Don't believe them. Because look what it says in verse 27, for as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. What that is in a nutshell is you don't have to look about and wonder when Christ comes back. You'll know about it, believe me. It'll be such a stupendous, magnificent, absolutely earth-shattering event. You'll know about it. You won't be in any doubt. You won't be thinking, is he back? I'm not so sure. Did I hear the door go? No. You won't have any doors. He's going to blow the doors clean off your house. Maybe even lift your house up and set it back down again. So when the Lord returns, you'll know all about it. So don't panic. You won't miss it. So that's that. Well, anyway, good to see everybody tuning in today. And it's been an interesting weekend. Very interesting indeed, because our Prime Minister in Britain, Boris Johnson's been whipped off the hospital with the coronavirus. People have got him on machines that he's not. He's getting a bit of oxygen, he's fine. But he was a heavy drinker and he's rather fat. And he's not spring chicken, he's not an old guy, but he's getting on. But anyway, I seen the figures coming out from Ireland on Saturday. I was down in Ireland on Saturday delivering food for a good friend and a group that we would be very supportive of. Supportive of most groups, but this one in particular is very good. Run by a young lad called Niall McConnell. He's very good indeed, actually. Gives a lot of fellas a showing up. And of course he's hated for it, because remember, a prophet is without honour in his own land, and nothing has been true or said. So I was down there, and while I was down there I was listening to the news, and the Irish government released figures of this hideous death epidemic, which has killed 130 people in Ireland. Seriously, I mean, how they've managed to lock a country down and 130 people have died in a month is beyond me. But anyway, they announced that the average age of the people who have died of this hideous and cruel disease, the new Black Death, the bubonic plague of 2020, is 81. So the average, the meridian age of people who have died in Ireland is 81. And if you include Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, join them together, the whole massive total is 200 people. So for 200 people, they've closed an entire country down, a small country, an impoverished country that's just getting out of the debt of 2008, the crash of 2008. They're just getting out of that. And now the government has completely smashed the entire country. Smashed it. For what? I don't know what for. And in Britain, we've been told, the pollen, people say to me, you're always coughing and wheezing and spluttering. Well, I'm an idiot, that's why. Because I'll tell you what, I've got hideous allergy to pollen. And nobody told me that lime trees are the worst thing for giving you pollen, and especially this time of year when they start growing their leaves. So when I was mucking about the house a few years ago, 14 years ago, I got them cheap, you see, I'm a Scotsman, so there was a bargain going, and this woman sold me 4 semi-mature lime trees, and I planted them right around my house. So it doesn't matter where I go in the house, I've got lime trees hanging in the window, and they're the worst thing for people with my condition. So that's why I'm wheezing, sneezing, snorting, sniffing. It's these wretched lime trees, but they're so beautiful. I don't want to take them out. Plus the cigars, over the years, have took their toll, and I must confess, be sure your sins will find you out. Nothing surer. And remember, before we go on, like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, comment below and share. So anyway, I want to get into this, and I want to show you for our American friends, people stateside. I think we'll show you their graphs first, Mr. Techie Man. Cases, let's have a look at the coronavirus cases. Let's have a wee look at that. Okay, so, where are we here? Ooh, my eyes, aren't I? Very good, tall. Just wait a minute to get to so I can see the thing. Okay, so daily cases, you see there? It's going up. Is this every 2 days? Every 3 days? Something like that. So you see how it's climbing. Now, that thing at the top there, it's shown a downward. Is that right? Can I see that right? The last day there is downward.
It is, yeah.
Yep, there you go. So in the last few days, America's actually took a wee stagger downward. This is new cases that's been discovered, and I would imagine that's coming from people who are being tested or hospitalised or whatever. But anyway, you can see there the daily case there on April the 3rd. Is that the 3rd?
Yes.
The 5th, yesterday. It actually dipped to 25,316. So we were told that the cases would be doubling and quadrupling, or trebling and quadrupling every 2 or 3 days. It's not happening. There they're there. Not happening. Now let's look at the other chart, because this is very interesting as well. Now remember, these are daily deaths. Now this is more interesting, ladies and gentlemen, so pay attention to this, because they're trying to scare the life out of us, and it's not right. Okay, so look at the daily deaths here. Again, you'll remember, if you're in America or any other country, because they're telling us all the same thing, that every 2 days the death rate would double. Who's heard that? Everybody heard that? I've been hearing it for weeks. In fact, I was hearing that last week would be the spike. Now they're saying this week will be the spike. There'll be no spike. Believe me, there'll be no spike. So here we go. Look at the death rate there. So that's the daily deaths. You see it? Climbing, climbing, climbing. Then it drops down, then it goes up. Then it goes up again, then it drops down. And it's going to go like that for a few weeks. But the way they were talking, if you look at the left-hand side, you're going 500, 1,000, 1,500. So it's increments of that. But if you look at this, these are relatively small. So in the last week, you went roughly from 800 deaths up to 1,300, 1,400, back down to 1,100, 1,200. It's not the 2,000 2 days later, 4,000 2 days later, 8,000 that they've been telling us. And they've been telling us this in Britain. They've been telling us this in America. They've been telling us this in Canada. They've been telling us this in Australia. They've been telling us this everywhere. Well, look, it's not happening, folks. And they're getting sneaky now, because you're dying with coronavirus, not from coronavirus. So if you're an 88-year-old person with chronic heart disease and you drop dead but you happen to be infected, that's the reason they're putting on your death certificate. It's ridiculous. So where are we now, Mr. Takey Guys? Now look at this, America again. Now here's the kind of thing they show you, but this is what they'll show you first. You see? This is what they'll show you. So anybody who's not tutored or learned in these matters would look at that and go, oh my goodness, look at this. Look at the deaths, they're going up through the roof. Now just flick back to the other one. The reality is that they're actually going down. Go back to the other one again. Do you see what I mean, folks? Flick the other one again. Do you see what they're doing? Do you see what they're doing? This is a very, very deliberate and calculated ploy to freak us out. Again, I don't know why. Could be a reset. Who knows? I don't know. But there's one thing I do know, and there's one thing you've got to have figured out by now. There's something going on here to worry the life out of us for no apparent reason. How you doing, Kenneth Barrow? Okay. Now I want you to look at for our British friends. Let's have a look at some of the British charts. It's the same story, of course. What am I looking at here, Mr. Techie Man? Daily deaths. Okay, do you see this? So the deaths have went up quite sharply around about the 28th. 28th to 30th. Yeah, there we go. So the deaths jump up. You see, they've jumped up, but then they've stabilised. They went up a wee bit more. But look at them now. That last day, it's not very good, that thing sticking over them, because we don't see where that spike's going. But you need to take it to me. That spike's down. What's the day before it's saying? It's slightly more, isn't it? Yeah, that's a nuisance, that thing sitting there. Yeah. Okay, so the other day we were 698. And remember, we've been told every 2 days it's going to double. So 698, let's call it 700. It should be 1400. The next junction here, it's not 1400. It's 621. It's actually dropping. And that's with them being very liberal, shall we say, in declaring who's died of the coronavirus. So a blind man can see, but look at the chart they show us. This is the one they show publicly. They don't show the other two, by the way. We have to go and dig them out. This is the one they show in the newspapers and everything. Look. And you look at that and you think, oh my goodness, oh dear. You know, we're doomed. But, go back to the other one. There you go. It's actually down. That last spike is down from the couple of days before. And regardless of all of that, it's not doubling every 2 days. That spike that last spike should be up through the floor in this studio. It should be up through the ceiling. It should be up through the roof of this building. That's what it should be, if they were telling the truth. And ladies and gentlemen, they know this because we've now got 6 to 8 weeks track record of this. So this isn't just people getting it wrong because they're, innocently getting it wrong because they don't really know. They know fine well. They know absolutely. I'm not a scientist and I can see the data and I can analyse the data the same as you. Whether you're sitting in Canada, Australia, New Zealand and America or anywhere else, we can see the data. We're not stupid. And people are beginning to rumble. People now are beginning to say, Jim, sorry about calling you a nutcase 2 weeks ago because you're right, this is nonsense. So why are they keeping us locked in our houses? Why are they taking away our jobs? Why are they destroying the economy? Why are they completely condemning the next generation of our children to debt and poverty for the next 30 years? Because 10 million people signed on the dole or on the benefit system, what do they call it in America, welfare. 10 million people signed on welfare last week in America. They lost their jobs. 10 million. Some of them are furlonged, I know, but 10 million people lost their jobs. Last week in the USA, 6 million people lost their jobs last week in the UK. So if that's our figures, and we're a bit ahead of you, America, you're going to have 25, 30 million people by this time next week unemployed. This has never been seen since the Great Depression. Buddy, can you spare a dime? That's what it's going to be like very shortly. I mean, it's went too far now to be fixed, even if they do click their heads into gear. But they won't do it. Because if they suddenly said, we've made a mistake and allowed everybody back out to go and take up the jobs that are now destroyed because the company shut down, they know there'll be a revolution on the streets. So they won't do it. So here's a prediction from me and from the Templars. I've been authorised to say this. This is what we reckon is going to happen. At the end of this month, they may extend the lockdown another month. We don't think they will. Or if they do, it'll maybe only be a couple of weeks more. But then they'll let us out. So they're going to let us out either early May or mid-May. They're going to let us out. And they'll let us out for a week, maybe 6 weeks. And you'll see the cases, not necessarily deaths, the cases rising again. They'll say, you see the quarantine worked? Boom! And we'll be locked down again. And this time we'll be locked down for longer, maybe 3 full months. So we'll be locked down maybe July, August, September. Then they'll let us out again. But within a very short period of time, maybe 6 weeks, the winter starts kicking in the northern hemisphere. And natural flus occur. This thing will be back. And they'll say, oh my goodness, we need to lock you down again. And then we'll be locked down October, November, December, January, February. We'll be locked down for 5 or 6 months. That's worst case scenario, folks. So the good news is this thing is not killing the millions of people that they try to tell us. It's not even killing the thousands, the tens of thousands that they said it would. It's killing very few young people. And the average age of people who are dying in the island of Ireland is 81. Now, people don't live that long in the island of Ireland. It's a cold, damp, dreary place. So getting to that age is quite rare. But anyway, the average age of people dying on the island of Ireland, the Emerald Isle, is 81. So, this is some form of lunacy. It's either mass hysteria by all our governments simultaneously, in which case we should be really, really, really worried and dig a hole and hide in it. Or they're working to some kind of agenda and plan, which I choose to believe because I cannot imagine everybody in positions of power in the West losing their minds simultaneously. It'd be too frightening. But there we go. So, what have I got today? I also want to show you something. Don't worry, it's not for sale, it's ours, but I want to show you our new flag. I don't know if it'll show up too well on the camera. But this is our Bussant battle flag, and we've got a new one for the UK. For Great Britain, not the UK, for Great Britain. Beautiful satin and silk. It's a beautiful flag. I'll put it this way, actually. Excuse me for manhandling like this, but we can't get the pole and everything, so I just have to show you the best I can. So it's all frilled and everything. Let me see if I can get it up a bit here. It's a beautiful flag. So do excuse me for manhandling it. Will you like that? Is that showing up? There we go. Beautiful, beautiful flag. And of course, the Americans already got theirs. The Serbs have got theirs. The Bulgarians have got theirs. The Hungarians have got theirs. The French, they have theirs. But we're still none in Canada. Still none flags issued in Australia. So hopefully, once we get out of this lockdown, if we ever get out of this lockdown, we can do something about that. Again, folks, we're very busy with the Templar Food Aid. We're very busy with the Community Aid project as well now, which is putting red and green cards in the windows of the pensioners and so on, so that local people can offer them assistance. So if you can help, possibly help with our food aid endeavours, please see the donation links before the food aid, or better still, join us. We benefit. It gives us money to conduct this, and it brings you into the order. That's a marvellous thing. So you can join as an affiliate member. Okay, an affiliate member, you get a nice box with your stuff in it. You get like one of these, a nice official Templar cross pendant. You get all the stuff in the box, the membership card with the key fob, all of that stuff, and a lovely framed certificate in parchment, and your name entered into your official role in the Roslin Priory. Or that costs $89, I think, and that's a one-off. Or you can join as a full night. Obviously, you still have to go through your ceremony at some point, but you get the full regalia, now look, this is what happens at the ceremony. So you get the full regalia in the price. It's prices of $800 and something, but you can pay it up over 6 months. But you get all the gear, everything. You get everything: the big breast medal, the neck jewel, the cape, the whole shebang, the beret with the skull of Sidon, everything. And then you'll be invited to one of these ceremonies. Now, I don't know about you folks, but we live in such a secular age, such a Hollywood age. It's terrible. There's no mystery anymore. There's no mystique. There's nothing wrong with about that. So when you go there, you're led into church, blind, hand on shoulder. You're led in by the brothers. There is Templar chanting echoing all through the church. And up on the high altar are the clergymen, the clerics, who receive you in with the Grand Prior. He's there himself, yes. Sometimes I help out, sometimes no. Sometimes people that can speak proper English are asked instead of me. But it's wonderful. I mean, look at it. It is just absolutely wonderful. And it's a great event. And then after that, we process out the church and we do a procession. And then we go to a wonderful restaurant and have a great banquet. We also do that the night before as well. So it's a fantastic event. And I would suggest that if you're really serious about being a fighter, a real fighter, and if you're old and getting on a bit, obviously you can't be lifting arms and run about the streets, but there's many ways of fighting. Us old boys have got it here. The young fellas have got it in the legs and in the arms. We've got it here. So it's very important for mature gentlemen to join the order, to give their wisdom and their encouragement and their support to the young guys who have to run about in the political world, sometimes have to go to war zones. A lot of your guys go and rebuild stuff, install the electricity again, get the water systems going. Some of your guys go and fight, but only if they're ex-forces and they know what they're doing. No point being a nuisance to some other army. So I would suggest you do seriously consider joining the Templars, whether you join as an affiliate and wait a while and come in as a full night, or you just go full hog, go in as a full night, pay it up over 6 months, or the one go. It's up to you. And then put yourself forward for the fantastic knighting ceremony. I think it will change your life, because a very serious oath you make before God and in front of your brothers and witnesses and peers. You can bring your, you are allowed to bring along your spouse at these events. They can actually watch the part of the knighting ceremony. They can't watch it all, but they can watch part of the knighting ceremony, which is marvellous and fantastic, especially if you've got a son. They can see his father going through the process. It's just a wonderful experience, and I think it would impart something to your son that you'll never forget, and that's very important. Very important. So remember, look on the links below. There's links to join as a full night and links to join as an affiliate. Now let me show you this. Can you zoom that up? My eyes are just getting worse. I was at the opticians the other week. They gave me the wrong glasses, and I said, "What are you going to do about this?" Paid for them, $300. You'll have to come back after this crisis. But when will that be? I don't know. So anyway, I'll maybe have to make my own glasses. I'll get some bottles that Frank keeps that moonshine in, because those bottles must be indestructible, and I'll take the glass from the bottoms and strap them onto my face. What about that, Frank? Anyway, look. More good news, folks. More good news. Rejoice, rejoice. We're all going to live. Worldwide death rates, January the 1st, 2020, till April the 1st, 2020, worldwide. So, 48,284 people have died from coronavirus. 50,000 died from coronavirus. But 123,000 have died from normal flu. Let this sink in, folks. 48,000 died of corona, 123,000 died of normal flu. No country shut down. 240-odd thousand from malaria, 270-odd thousand have committed suicide, 341,000 have died in traffic accidents. I don't see all the cars being dragged off the streets and everybody's licenses being burnt. 424,935 from AIDS, HIV. Huh? It's amazing. Where's all these gay prides coming from then if that's how many people are dying of this thing? Incredible. They can't be breeding. So I don't know. It's strange. Anyway, 632,000 have died from alcohol poisoning. Had you a hand in this, Frank? Have you been selling that pecan moonshine worldwide, brother? Now, that's a serious number. But if you want to drink yourself to death, that's up to you. But, you know. Now, 1.2 million people have died from smoking. 1.2 million people from smoking. How ridiculous, how stupid. And you provide the big business with money and the rotten government with billions in tax money. It's crazy. But look, 2 million have died from cancer. 2 million. Very sad. My father died of cancer. Terrible thing. But here's the kicker. 10,744,000 Oh, that's a bit strange. Well, anyway, nearly 11 million have died from abortion. Okay? So, if you look at the cancer deaths and you compare them with abortion deaths, there's no comparison. And it's infinitesimal when you compare 11 million dead babies by abortion to the 48,000 who's died by coronavirus. So this mantra that the government keeps telling us, because now they can't hide it, that it's killing mainly old people, nearly all old people. They can't hide it anymore. But they're saying every life is precious. We will defend our old people. Really? The governments are asking us to believe that they give a rat's behind about human beings, especially old people, when they can kill 11 million babies who will be the future generation of workers, consumers, voters, just people, the population. They don't mind killing them. But they say they're all so concerned about 85-year-olds dying. Don't make me laugh. It's nonsense. But that puts it into perspective, folk, doesn't it? Puts it into perspective. Really, really puts things into perspective. So our governments have no problem at all slaughtering. And by the way, that's January, February, March. That's 3 months. 3 months. They have destroyed 11 million babies by abortion. But the whole world loses its mind over 48,000 very elderly people dying of coronavirus. Doesn't make sense, does it? Are you beginning to get it now? It's crazy. Wait a minute. There you go. Just live, the techie man has just given me a live feed. This is why it's good to have people under 30 working with you, because I can't work these things. News feed. Today. Headline news. Britain's daily coronavirus rate has just dropped by a third, by 33% to 400 odd deaths. This is the very day they were saying last week we'd be running about 1,200 deaths a day by now. It's dropped by a third. Do you understand, people? And look, I want to say personally, because I don't think any's in any disagreement now. This is a load of baloney. But when I said this to you guys 3 weeks ago, I know some people were on the feed and emailing us saying, Jim, have you lost your mind? Or the Templars went mad. Why are the Templars saying this? This is irresponsible. Look, I told you a long time ago, and I'll continue to tell it. The Templars understand what's going on when most people don't. The Templars are a very ancient organisation with centuries of experience of hoaxes, of mad governments, of plots, of intrigue. And by the way, I'm not saying what our government's doing, all our governments are doing, is necessarily a bad thing, because they may know something that we don't. They might know that the financial collapse, if we were called out on our money, would have been 10 times worse than the damage that's been done now with this phony virus. But they knew fine well we wouldn't cooperate with shutting our businesses down, so they had to invent something. So it could be that. And, the government may be looking after us. I don't know. But we knew from the very start this was fake. Because we have scientists, we know heads of governments, we know people in the security services in various countries. We knew from day one this was not correct. This was fake. This was manufactured. We didn't know the reason. Still fully don't know the reason. Neither do our contacts, but they knew it was fake. And we told you. Yes, and we got a few punches in the chin for telling folk the truth. But you can always rely on the Templars. It's very, very, very rare that we get it wrong. However, I think I'll share with you, just to give you a wee bit of a laugh. We got it spectacularly wrong a few years ago. A very high-ranking official that we know who works in royal circles in London. Very high-up guy. He works in royal circles. Well, somebody, for some unknown reason, told him that the Queen's husband, Prince Philip, had just passed away, died. And we got the story immediately and he said, this is absolutely 100%. He works in one of the royal establishments, one of the royal palaces. And they told us, no, this is 100%. We said, are you sure? Absolutely. But why wouldn't you believe a guy who works in the royal palace? So we put it out on the news. We put it out on the airwaves. And he wasn't dead. Yep, wasn't dead. And the Queen herself, we actually worried the Queen, and for that we're eternally apologetic and sorry, and we have apologised to the Queen, I can assure you. We have apologised to the Queen in a grovelling way, because she was away and she had to phone home to see if Prince Philip was dead, and he wasn't dead. So yes, that's the last time I can remember we got it wrong, and it was spectacularly wrong. So occasionally we do it, but immediately within an hour we had another email out saying, listen, we got it wrong, this is rubbish, we're sorry. So, and we put it everywhere. We made sure everybody knew that, look, we got this wrong. So if we do get it wrong, we won't try and protect our butts. We'll tell you, we messed up. Yeah. All the people take our opinions so seriously. I shouldn't laugh at this, it's not funny, but I have a strange sense of humour, and you won't believe how effective this was. The minute the Templars said he was dead, the BBC, ITV, Sky News, CNN, Fox News, NBC in America, the ones in Australia, all the newscasters started wearing black ties, because they know if it comes from the Templars, you can take it to the bank. Well, even us, because we are fallible human beings, we got it wrong spectacularly. We had to apologise, grovel before Her Majesty and begged her forgiveness, because I thought I was going to get taken to the tower at one point, but we got it wrong. But on this, as most things, we called it based on the information that we received, not from some lunatic on YouTube, but from people in high office and people who are in the security industry. So I would like to thank everybody for putting their trust in us, because I know a lot of folk did trust us and went out on a limb and said, look, the Templars have said this is rubbish, and you were given a hard time by some of your own friends and family. So I thank you for having that trust in us. I think we've established now beyond any doubt that this is a pile of nonsense. But it's still real. People are still locked up in their houses. People have lost their jobs. So we have to deal with what it's caused. We have to deal with the effects. So as Donald Trump said at the beginning, if the cure is worse than the illness, there's no point in taking the cure. And the only two world leaders who thought like that were Donald Trump and Boris Johnson. Both of them said, just let everybody get it and let nature take its course. But our Boris Johnson, he is in hospital and he's been kept in hospital under doctor's orders. So we'll see what happens to him. Our prayers, and the Bible tells us, I don't really like him, but the Bible tells us, pray for those in charge of you. Pray for your leaders. So we will pray for Boris Johnson, as we pray for all the leaders, including President Trump and all the good leaders throughout the world. And we'll pray for Boris, and let's pray to God that he's okay, and that he comes out and makes a full recovery. So that's really it. I mean, I think I'll end on a very... let me see the comments. But I'll tell you a wee ditty before I go. I can't show you the pictures of this because YouTube will have us down. I woke up this morning very early because I bought a cockerel. I used to have chickens and the wife got rid of them anyway, but this crisis I managed to convince her we might starve, so let's get some more chickens. So she's allowed me to get chickens again. So I've got the chickens and this giant cockerel. I don't know where, my son gave me him. I think it's a throwback. It's like a prehistoric dinosaur, this thing. It's huge. It's bigger than me almost. Anyway, It crows incessantly, and it starts about 5:30 a.m. So for the last few days now, I'm getting up at 5:30 and wandering about, because I don't go to bed till about 2, because I'm very busy. So now I'm up at 5:30, don't know, I'm doing work, it's great, I'm getting lots of stuff done. But anyway, I woke up this morning at 5:30, this wretched cockerel. I had to go out and let him out. I was going to strangle him, but he's that big he'd probably strangle me. So I let him out and ran away. Came in, put the news on. What do I see? Oh, big headline. Completely fit. Now, be careful with the words here. Fit and healthy nurse with no underlying health diseases at all has died in England. Then they put a picture up. She's as fat as a whale. How can any woman who's 5'2" and 18 stones be fit and healthy? Her underlying health issue is obesity. It's not underlying. It's there. Now, no disrespect to the woman or her family. May God grant her peace and comfort her family. But this is how the media are using genuine tragedies of that young nurse giving her life and dying. But they're using it then to beat me over the head with. Then I become combatant and look at the whole situation. And now, of course, they rely on people not making any comment. Well, I don't roll that way. I'm Scotch-Irish. I'll say what needs to be said and shame the devil. I don't give a monkey's what you think of it. The woman was grossly overweight. That's why she died. Because this virus is very bad if you've got underlying diabetes or something like that. That's the reality. Nobody's got the courage to say this because it's too sensitive. Well, it ain't sensitive to me, because you're not going to frighten my family. You're not going to frighten my friends. You're not going to frighten my country by using these fake sob stories. I'm sorry for the woman who died. God bless her. God bless her family. God comfort her. But do not desecrate that woman's memory and her brave endeavours to help the people who were genuinely ill by manipulating that into something that it's not. So if anybody's got any anger, don't be angry at me for bringing it up and calling it out. Be angry at the BBC for using that poor woman's death as a tool to further this massive fraud that's been perpetrated upon the people of the free world. So let's see here. Yeah, abortion has become the norm, we know that. Andy, how you doing? Do you like the jacket, Andy? It's very Arthur Montford. You might be too young to remember Arthur Montford. He was an old sports commentator in Scotland back in the day. It's an Arthur Montford jacket, and I call it, my wife calls it, are you wearing your Arthur Montford jacket, eh? Angus, aye. So, Arthur Montford jacket, fantastic. Illuminati, yep, yeah. Seize the means of production, quantity, yeah, very good, you're right, yep. I'm glad people are getting frightened. Hopefully, we're bringing them back to God, yep, absolutely. And 10 after that, you're on your own. Tell each, very good. That's right. God said to you, he'll give you 10. After that, you're right. You're on your own. You've got more than enough. You've had more than your fair. Paul, how you doing? How many children have been born since the outbreak of coronavirus? Quite a few, but wait to see how many's born in 9 months, brother. The country's going to be flooded with babies. Hallelujah! Praise the Lord. Can't wait. It's going to be great. Who else is there? Frank Bukovats. Amen, brother. You're a good man, Frank. I can't wait to see you again, brother. No, well, the abortion clinics, our brother was saying there's abortions cancelled. Sadly not. They sneaked a law through that the abortionists now can go to your home. So you're not allowed to go to anybody else's home, but the abortionists can come to your home and perform an abortion. You know what I mean? Come on. Neville, you're right. The BBC is fake news. You better believe it. Tab 1965. Well, it's no me speaking the truth, Tab. I appreciate your sentiments, but I'm fed this information from people all over the world who actually know what they're talking about, and I deliver it because I'm either mad or brave. Nobody's really came to we don't really know. The jury's still out, including my own. So thanks very much, folks. Again, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks very much, Illuminati. I think the service maybe reached a lot of people yesterday and reached them in their heart. I mean, so remember, like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, comment below, and share. We're all in this together. I don't think this chapter's finished by a long shot. I'm sure none of us are going to die of the dreaded COVID-19. But I think draconian measures are now going to be employed against the ones who are waking up and calling this out. I think we're going to get a lot of pressure, and I think we're going to be under martial law, perhaps before the end of the year. I don't want to get into too much, but we've been hearing things. But when we hear it, you hear it. But we've been hearing things, and I think Europe could be and America could be a very different country in 6 months. But again, what can we do about it? Trust in God, and if we have to, fight. Anyway, folks, that's all from me today. I wish you all the very best. God bless you. Remember, you're in Holy Week now, so remember, we're going towards the cross. Prepare yourself. Dwell upon the sacrifice and the passion of our Lord. And until I see you tomorrow, remember, stay close to God. You won't go far wrong. Dus Volt.
The threat is real, and we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the Resistance. Deus Volt.